Imagine going to the library and you're looking for a new book to read. So instead of going to your classic comic book section, you go to the classic literature section. You go perusing through the aisles and you come across a title called The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. So you pick up the book and look at the back and you go, wow, this is going to be a really good book. Let's get it. But before you get out of the library, you start to look through the pages of the book. And some of the words that catch your eye are words that you may not be used to seeing in books that you read today. There are a lot more words that are considered derogatory or curse words in these classic literature books. So what would your reaction be if you came across this? Would you instantly think, this book needs to be banned? Or would you maybe think, what if we rewrote it? Or blurred some of these words out? According to Cronkite News, over 11,000 books have been challenged since 1982 in the United States alone. Now, what does it mean to be challenged? When a book is challenged, this means that someone has brought about the idea to ban a book based upon certain subjects or language that the book possesses. So today, I want to show you how rewriting or even banning the books due to language and suggestive material can take away the messages that these authors are trying to teach the readers. So, why would we rewrite the books? Some language can be considered racist or unacceptable for young audiences. For example, in Mark Twain's Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, there are some derogatory words for African Americans. When Mark Twain wrote this book, he did not mean this to come off as racist or derogatory. This book took place in the South, and those kind of words were in the dialect of most Southern people. Some material also can seem unnecessary for today's readers to read, meaning that the problems no longer exist or that there's no real message that we can take away for our modern times, when really there's a lot more to the message than what it seems. So now that we've looked at why we would rewrite the books, let's look at some other solutions to this problem. One of the major solutions could be that English teachers could use these books more in their classrooms. The curriculum can be more designed to look at these classic literature and the authors and to see where they're coming from. If more people read and enjoy these books, it is easier for us readers to combat those that want these books banned. If more people enjoy these, they're not going to want them to be banned. And also, since language is the biggest problem publishers have with these books, and even the people, maybe another solution could be to blur certain words or phrases that the original authors put in the book. For example, one of my favorite books is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This talks about a white lawyer who's defending an African American man who is accused of rape. This book takes place in the South, and so there are sometimes some racist words or derogatory statements towards African Americans. I'm not saying that these words are right, but this is how the author, wrote this book. She was from the South, and so were the characters in the book. So she wanted to make it as authentic as possible. She didn't mean to try to offend or hurt anybody's feelings by what was in the book. So what are some benefits of keeping these classic literature books around? Well, first of all, there's increased knowledge. When we read these books, we can see new ideas and topics that are not as prevalent in newer books. Also, if teachers are teaching more of these classic literature books, they can also have an effect on the students. Students may want to learn more and read more of these books. And finally, there's an increased value and appreciation for these classical writers. Not many people nowadays know who Jonathan Swift is, who's the writer of Gulliver's Travels, another one of my favorite books. So, according to the artifice, banning books would be, quote, blocking off a whole other world to younger students, end quote. The author goes even further to explain that even though some of these topics may not be appropriate for younger audiences, they can still learn from the message of the writers and the themes that are presented in these books. Now, I love classic literature and I love to read in general. Even though this topic isn't as mainstream news as it used to be, more books will become part of the endangered species list, as we call it, if no action is taken. Instead of asking your local politicians about what their foreign policy demands are or what their domestic relations policies are, ask them about what their stance is on banning books. Are they for it? Are they against it? So take action. If we can take action, we can help keep these books around for the next generation to come. Thank you.